Something you need? I'm sure either my boy or I can help you out. I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Wait a minute. Dang it.
Are you sure I can't interest you in this hat? A pair of earrings, perhaps? A cheese knife? I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Dang it, I'm gonna have to redo so much.
What say you? Not everyone, but a handsome man like yourself. Why not? I am sure you are a man who draws many stares from women and other men alike.
Mm-hmm.
Does this bother you?
I had no idea
I was
you
raised
were.
in a brothel and trained to seduce whomever is required. Open-mindedness is a survival trait, and I learned long ago to make no such judgments.
Mm-hmm.
But if you would rather I desisted, I shall do so. I've no wish to make you uncomfortable.
You prefer I prefer you
Your
stop.
wish is my command. Now that that is out of the way, shall we move on?
Mm-hmm.
With my eyes fastened elsewhere, I assure you.
Okay, thank you for that. Appreciated. I'm
What
sad
say
our
you?
friendship went down, but still.
By all means.
Why did you leave the
Well,
crows
now.
exactly?
I imagine that's a very fair question. Being an assassin, after all, is a living, at least as far as such things go. I was simply never given the opportunity to choose another way. So, if that choice presents itself, why should I not seize upon it?
So you're simply bored? You didn't choose the life of the crows?
To be truthful, I didn't even know the crows existed when I joined them. I was but a boy of 7 when I was purchased. For 3 sovereigns, I'm told. Which is a good price, considering I was all ribs and bone and didn't know the pommel of a dagger from the pointy end. The crows buy all their assassins that way. Buy them young, raise them to know nothing else but murder. And if you do poorly in your training, you die.
And that worked?
Of course. You compete against your fellow assassins, and those who survive are rightfully proud of it. In Antiva, being a crow gets you respect. It gets you wealth. Gets you women. And men. Or whatever it is you might fancy. But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being expendable. It's a cage, if a gilded cage. Pretty, but confining.
I need to roleplay this a little bit, so in a way he sounds spoiled from my guy's perspective.
I certainly hope so. I have earned the crows a great deal of money, and none of it has come easily. As for what I'll do in the future, presuming that there is one, I truly can't imagine. It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where you go.
I'm happy to have you along, though.
And here I am, happy to be had. Isn't it wonderful how things work out that way?
Yeah.
Come now, enough chit-chat. Talking about the crows summons them, you know. Any Antivan fishwife could tell you so.
Well, I'm role-playing,
What
so...
say you? By all means.
Do you actually enjoy
And
being
why
an
not?
assassin?
There are many things to enjoy about being a crow in Antiva. You are respected, you are feared, the authorities go out of their way to overlook your trespasses, even the rewards are nothing to turn your nose up at. As for the killing part, well, some people simply need assassinating. Or do you disagree?
Well, with how my guy grew up, he can completely understand. You never killed an innocent?
Now there's an interesting word, innocent. How many men do you know who can claim to be truly innocent? But if you're talking generalities, such as children and relatives and bystanders and such, never on purpose. But it happens. It's unfortunate, but death comes to us all. If not me, then some wasting disease, or a fall down the stairs, or at the hands of a darkspawn. It's all relative in the end.
That's a very practical attitude.
Death happens, as we like to say. And when I get paid for it, death happens more often. As far as enjoying the act of killing itself, why not? There is a certain artistry to the deed. The pleasure of sinking your blade into their flesh and knowing that their life is in your hands.
I know what you mean.
There are many things I did not enjoy about being a crow, of course. Having no choice, being treated as an expendable commodity, the rules. Oh, so many rules. But simply being an assassin, I like it just fine. I will continue to do it if I can, even if I am not a crow. Honestly, could you picture me doing something else?
Why not? You can do whatever you want.
Whereas I am content merely doing what I happen to be good at. It's a talent that not many come by, honestly. I don't see why I need not pursue it. Of course, all these thoughts are moot. Chances are still good that you and I will perish, eaten by darkspawn or slain by the crows at some point. Maybe gruesomely, I imagine. But it is pleasant enough to chat about. Come, let's move on while our boots still have some wear in them.
Ooh, I'm befriending him.
What say you?
I'm befriending you so well.
By all means.
Tell me about your
My
adventures.
I'm hardly an old man just returned from across the ocean, am I? Should I shake my fist at nearby children while I talk about the good old days?
Get off my hair. You sound like you've had adventures.
Falling down a flight of stairs is an adventure. Falling into someone's bed, also an adventure. I am assuming what you're looking for are professional anecdotes. Let's see, my second mission ever for the Crows was a bit intriguing. I was sent to kill a mage who had been meddling in politics.
Meddling in... On your second...
Well, it was just the one mage. Not as simple a mission as the vagrant Grey Warden or two, perhaps. As it turned out, the mage in question was quite a delightful young woman. Long, divine legs, as I recall. I caught her in a carriage on her way to escape to the provinces. After I killed her guard, she got down on her hands and knees and begged for her life. Rather aptly, I might add. So I joined her in the carriage for the night and left the next morning. Well, yes, twice, actually. Then she decided to try and use me instead. The woman had actually convinced me to speak to the Crows on her behalf. What can I say? I was young and foolish at the time. Then, as I was kissing her goodbye to return to Antiva City, she slipped on the threshold and fell backwards out of the carriage. Broke her neck. Shame, really, but at least it happened quickly.
You didn't actually kill her.
Not actually, no. I was a bit unimpressed by the development at first. Then I found out that she had told the driver to take her to Janellen instead. She had planned to lose me in the provinces. I would have looked very foolish to the Crows. As it was, my master was very impressed that I had done such a fine job of making it look like an accident. The Circle of Magi was unaware of foul play, and everyone was happier all around.
You got fucking lucky as hell.
I got stupid, in fact, and very lucky. It was after that when I learned that one needn't let a pretty face go to your head. Professionalism was key. That's my moral of the day, you see.
A wise lesson to learn, that's for sure.
And one that not everyone learns, I'm sad to say.
Yeah.
But that's enough tale spinning from me for the moment. Talking about the mage has made me a bit nostalgic, I'm afraid. Ah, the good old days.
How well am I befriending you, by the way? Pretty well, in fact.
What say you?
I got another
By all
question.
means.
Nah, never mind.
Something on your mind?
I has questions.
Of course. Essentially, they're trained to fight. The Chantry would tell you that the Templars exist simply to defend. But don't let them fool you. They're an army. The other main purpose for a Templar is, of course, to hunt mages. To that end, we train in talents that drain mana and disrupt spells.
Templars use magic?
You could call it that, sure. The Chantry doesn't look on it the same way, however, since really our talents only work on mages. Against a regular person, I'm just a guy in a metal suit.
Have you hunted mages before?
No, I never actually became a full Templar. Duncan recruited me before I took my vows. I was only present during one harrowing. The ritual that they test the mages with. It's not unlike our joining, really. And just as deadly. The girl they tested, she had a demon put inside her to see if she could resist. And she couldn't. We had to end it quickly. I have to say I didn't have much interest in becoming a Templar after that.
Seems like the Templars could run the Chantry. So couldn't others learn the talent?
You'd think that, but it's not so. The Chantry keeps a close rein on its Templars. We are given lyrium to help develop our magical talents, you see. Which means we become addicted. And since the Chantry controls the lyrium trade with the dwarves, well, I'm sure you can put two and two together. Thankfully, no. You only start receiving lyrium once you've taken your vows. You don't need lyrium in order to learn the Templar talents. Lyrium just makes Templar's talents more effective. Or so I was told. Maybe it doesn't even do that. The Chantry usually doesn't let their Templars get away either, so they can spread their secrets. I'm a bit of an exception. Lucky me.
Very lucky you.
Something on your mind? Of course.
Can you teach others to be a Grey Ward?
Others,
Templar?
yes, but not yourself. I need someone who's trained first as a warrior. It's as much about discipline as anything. I guess if I'm going to give up Chantry secrets, I may as well go all the way. Send whoever you want trained to me in camp, and I'll see what I can do. Something on your mind? Of course. Such as they are. That's a good question. There's plenty in Orlais, but who knows where they might be found. And the nearest Orlesian city is weeks away. If we go north and cross the sea, there's bound to be some in the Free Marches. Again, however, I just don't know where. I don't know anything about Grey Wardens in other lands.
Is there a headquarters
Here
somewhere?
in Ferelden, there's our compound in Denerim at the palace, but that's it. Loghain will have control over that and be watching it, no doubt. Beyond that, The only place I know of is Weishaupt Fortress. That's the headquarters of all Grey Wardens in the Andervelds, 1,000 miles from here. But I've no idea how to even contact them. So unless we try to get back to the compound in Denerim, I suppose the answer is no. There's nowhere for us to go.
So what happens when there's just the two of us?
I imagine that eventually the Grey Wardens outside of Ferelden will wonder what's happened. Why there's no contact from Duncan or someone. They'll send someone eventually. Though who knows what Loghain's people in Denerim will tell them. Maybe they won't send anyone. We could try to contact them. But that would mean leaving Ferelden, and even if we did, they couldn't come back with us in time to stop the Blight. So that means whatever happens, it's up to us.
Will we need to be rebuilding the Order?
I mean, eventually we would have to use the joining to make more Grey Wardens, right? But I don't know how to do the joining, or what's involved. I know it involves lyrium and some other magic, and that it's really difficult to prepare, but that's it. Unless we can find out more about the joining, I guess we better get used to the idea that there might only be two of us for now. Until more come from elsewhere.
What will happen if we just leave?
Just left? You mean just left Ferelden?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. If there's an archdemon, however, we're supposed to be the only ones who can defeat it. And that means the Blight would grow unchecked. Eventually, other Grey Wardens in Orlais and other lands would hear about it, and they would come to fight it, but they wouldn't come in time to save Ferelden. There's no way. I'm not going anywhere.
I have no more questions.
About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. Something on your mind?
I have questions.
Of course.
Number 4.
What's on your mind? Cure me? What, am I sick now?
I guess death isn't an illness.
Even you know that you cannot cure the dead. And I'm not the only one dying. You are too. I'm just more efficient about it. Ah, child. Your concern is heartwarming. But death comes to everyone, and it is not something to fear.
Death does not scare me, it's the
People
dying
fear
that scares.
not death, but having life taken from them. Many waste the life given to them, occupying themselves with things that do not matter. When the end comes, they say they did not have time enough to spend with loved ones, to fulfill dreams, to go on adventures they only talked about. But why should you fear death if you are happy with the life you have led? If you can look back on everything and say, yes, I am content. It is enough.
Are you content?
I think I've led a good life, a full life, and I, for one, am not afraid of death, whatever it may bring. They say that when you die, your spirit travels through the fade and returns to the Maker. And after that, we'll see, won't we?
Mm-hmm.
What's on your mind?
Do you have any regrets
I
at
try
all?
not to dwell too much on the mistakes of my past, of which there are many. I would go quite mad if I did that. But I do have one regret. The greatest misstep of my life, made even more grave because it had dire consequences for someone else.
What did you do?
Years ago, I was assigned as mentor to a lad, Anarin. He was my first apprentice. Anarin was an elf, raised in one of the elven alienages, and he was very mistrustful of humans, especially humans in authority.
I can see how this could be trouble.
What Anarin needed was time. Time to get used to his new home, time to emerge from his shell, so we could build a rapport. I gave him no such time. I was young and arrogant. He is a mage, I thought. He needs to grow up and act like one. I expected too much from him too quickly. I gave no consideration to his origin or his feelings, and he retreated further from me. All I could think of was how stubborn he was, how he was throwing away all his talent and his potential just to be difficult.
Was he talented?
Oh, very much so. Sometimes I would catch him practicing on his own, but if I asked him to show me what he could do, he would freeze up or fumble terribly. You cannot plant crops in the cold, wintry ground. You cannot teach a student who is closed off and unresponsive. Patience is what is needed, and I learned that too late to help him. Anarin ran away from the circle one night. I had berated him over some trivial, ridiculous matter that I no longer remember. I drove him away because of something utterly unimportant. He was a child, 14 at the time of his leaving. They had his phylactery, and they hunted him down.
Phylactery.
The phylactery is a vial of blood taken from a mage. But blood is connected to life, and your blood can be used to track you down. They called him Maleficar, a mage who practices forbidden magic, deserving of death. He was a child, misunderstood and lost. I begged the Templars to tell me if he suffered, if they gave him a quick death. I got no answers from them. I was his mentor, and they wouldn't even tell me what became of him.
It's not your fault, Wynne.
I should have known better. I had the best mentors. They were kind, compassionate. Why didn't I learn from them? I failed Anarin. All I had to do was listen to him. He would try to talk to me, and I would tell him to concentrate on his spells. He talked about the alienage sometimes, and the Dalish. He always talked about looking for the Dalish elves.
I think it's time to forgive yours. Maybe he did find the Dalish.
The Templars are well trained and thorough. That he still lives, it would be a vain hope. The apprentices that came after Anarin benefited greatly from the lessons I learned from him. In a sense, he was my teacher, and I his student. And there it is. My story. My one greatest regret.
Aw, poor Wynne. Aw, I'm so
What's on
sad
your mind?
now. Aw.
I will answer to the best of my ability.
Nothing. Kicking him, my
Yes.
dog.
Yes.
I think Alistair may be good for this. Oh, what if I get into a fight? You know what? Save for now. Taravisha.
Yes.
Yes.
Horse feet.
Horse feet?
Yes.
What? Knew I was gonna get into a fight. Knew I was gonna get into a fight. Oh, it's a mage one. Okay. No, in! She's the only one up! No! Zevran! My God! Oh, fudge. Oh, no! That's right. No, he's gonna die. Dang it! Gonna need another potion.
Immediately. I shall do so.
Gotta start running for my dog, for my fucking dog! Dang it, I'm stunned. Is this how we die? Is this how we die?
As you say.
You know what? This chicken she can do it.
Strike. I shall do so.
Healing my dog.
Immediately. Now we go into we must have
There. All done. Ooh, more over here, okay. Well, I've been down. Good. All of them are down.
That was interesting.
Didn't know you
And
could do that.
draining. I didn't know I could either. I called forth the spirit that sustains me, so that it could lend us aid.
That's
I
good.
did not realize it would take this much out of me. It seemed a good idea at the time, if a little rash. I think it may have weakened the spirit a little.
That makes sense.
Anyway, I feel quite all right now. And it seems that my little trick could be useful in a pinch.
You know yourself
I promise
best.
I'll be careful. And thank you. Your concern is touching.
Okay.
Going.
What's on your mind? It is no trouble.
Alright, let's get going through the world map. Yep, let's keep going. Yeah. We got this. We got this. Yeah, we got this. We got this. World map while we're here. I'm gonna be changing who we're with.
The Blight. How will you end it? Is that all? It is surrounded by an ocean of darkspawn. How will you reach it? If you reach it, how will you slay it? You say you are a Grey Warden. I have heard stories of this order.
What?
Great strategists and peerless warriors. That is what we hear of the Wardens. So far, I am not impressed.
You think you could do better?
Yes.
He is very straightforward.
You called. I am hardly surprised.
Do you find it for
To
all
put
this?
it lightly, no one has a place here. Your farmers wish to be merchants. The merchants dream of being nobles, and the nobles become warriors. No one is content to be who they are. What does that accomplish? The farmer who buys a shop is never a merchant. He is always a farmer turned merchant. He carries his old life with him as a turtle carries its shell.
He might be happier.
Happiness is fragile. Nothing can be built upon it that will last. Only duty endures.
Duty can be forgotten? Oh no, I don't believe that. You don't think happiness is important? I suppose that's true.
Shall we move on?
Is there anything you...
There is interesting food here. You have a thing. It doesn't have a word in the Kunari tongue. Little baked things like bread, but sweet and crumbly.
Cookies?
Yes, we have no such things in our lands. This should be remedied.
I'll keep that in mind. You sound a bit
Perhaps.
homesick.
It's strange to be in a crowd and hear a language that is not your own. To see faces that are and aren't like yours. I miss the smells of Saharon. Tea and incense and the sea. Ferelden smells of wet dogs.
You left out rotting garbage.
True. I was trying to forget that part. Shall we move on?
Yes.
As you wish.
15 approval? 15 approval? What? What? What does 15 approval look with him? Like with him? Oh. Stan!
You called.
I love you.
I am hardly surprised. I was sent to be the eyes of the Antam. The Arishok asked what is the Blight. By his curiosity, I am now here.
What is an Arishok?
The one who commands the Antam, the body of the Kunari.
Why does he care about the Blight?
Why do you?
It's a threat to Orzammar.
Is it? If the Darkspawn are attacking Ferelden, doesn't that mean there are fewer preying on your own people? Don't strain yourself pondering that. I do not know why the Arishok sent us. He commands and I go.
Did you find an answer to his question?
A portion of it.
Don't you have to... Why would the Kunar... What was it?
Yes.
So... When are you going to do that?
Never. I cannot go home.
Well, you can stay with us.
Thank you. Can we move on? We keep the Darkspawn waiting.
Let's go.
As you wish.
12 friendship with Stan. What is this? I'm just role playing, my dude. And for some reason, Stan loves me. Why? I legit am just role playing my dude. And Stan's just like, I love this man. This man is mine. Oh. Yes. Stan.
Yes.
Yes.
And so you return. Lovely Morrigan has at last found someone willing to dance to her tune. Such enchanting music she plays, wouldn't you say?
I should...
Why dance at all? Why not sing?
She's freaking weird and I
What
love
has
it.
Morrigan told you? Hmm? What little plan has she hatched this time?
She knows how you're...
That she does. The question is,
lengthening
do
the
you? Ah, but it is an old, old story. One that Flemeth has heard before.
And even told.
Let us skip right to the ending, shall we? Do you slay the old wretch as Morrigan bids, or does the tale take a different turn?
You make it sound like this has happened multiple times before. What do you
Morrigan
propose?
wishes my grimoire? Take it as a trophy. Tell her I am slain.
And what happens to you?
I go. Perhaps I surprise Morrigan one day. Or I may simply watch. It would be interesting to see what she does with her freedom. Enlightening, even. Would you give an old woman that?
You think she would believe it?
We believe what we want to believe. It's all we ever do.
And what do I get out of it?
You get to keep her for a time. It's far easier this way, don't you think? The lies are always more fun.
Oh, I don't know. Random violence can be fun, but this is good too.
The book is inside the hut, with notes and spells enough to make even Morrigan blush with delight. You and I will not meet again. That I guarantee.
Well, I don't have a mage in my party, so it would not have been ideal to go up against her.
Yes. Going.
I gotta go back to that. Give Morrigan her grimoire. And talk to her for a bit.
Mother's real grimoire, is it? I am glad you were able to find it after all. My thanks for retrieving it. I shall begin studying it immediately and unlock the power that it holds.
Ooh, I got a 13 friendship with Morrigan. I could go to her and talk. What's the worst that'll happen?
It is a curious thing. I do not know how else to describe it.
What, is something wrong? You look confused. Oh, did you have your first... Is this really important?
Indeed I am, a little. I am reminded of our first meeting in the wilds. I had been in animal form for some time, watching your progress. I knew immediately that you were far more formidable than the other men you traveled with. I found you intriguing. Yet I resented it when Flemeth assigned me to travel with you. I assumed that, at best, you would drive me from your company as soon as we left the wilds.
Why would I do that?
I am aware that I have little talent for forming friendships, to put it lightly. 'Tis something I know nothing of, nor ever thought I needed. Yet when I discovered Flemeth's plans, you did not abandon me. Whatever your reasons, you fought what must have been a terrible battle without hope of real reward.
It was not a terrible battle. Trust me. I did it because my guy's gonna keep this secret. He's gonna lie to her face.
And that is what I do not understand. I have been with men physically, those who lusted after me and even professed love, but friendship with a man? I did not know it was even possible. Tell me, could there ever be anything more between you and I? Have you ever considered it?
Maybe Nope, never. My guy is gonna say that she's his sister.
As I thought. I had to ask, of course. Still, 'tis good to think that we are friends. Of all the things I could have imagined when Flemeth told me to go with you, this would be the very last. I want you to know that while I may not always prove worthy of your friendship, I will always value it. But enough of such idle talk. There are more useful things to be done, surely.
You and me, we're siblings. That is nothing that's gonna... This guy has his heart set out for an adorable bard. She's gonna be my
What
girl,
comes,
my
friend?
love, my everything.
So, full of questions, are you? I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
Your mother has been doing this for a long time then. That does sound like something you do. But it's just a legend, right?
So I assume. My mother has walked the wilds far longer than I. Who am I to suggest what things she has done and not done in her past? Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Can anyone be a shapeshifter? Shape changer?
Anyone with sufficient will. But the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed.
Do you spend a lot of time as an
There
animal?
were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
And what do the animals think of you?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask. The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
Alright.
No? 'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could. But as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
That's good. Such traditions need to be preserved.
I am surprised you think so. Still, 'tis a pleasant thing to hear.
Why is she
Indeed.
surprised my guy
Have
is
you an
just like,
opinion
yeah.
on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
I think your abilities are quite useful.
Oh, you're simply full of surprises, little man, aren't you? But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us.
The reason why my guy likes tradition is because he's a fucking dwarf. And the fact that even though he was branded, he's and basically tossed by society itself, he still values tradition to some extent. Along with, he's not gonna say no to such abilities. Especially since it's good in these times.
Yes.
Elf, Doggo, Morrigan.
Indeed.
No.
Damnation. Yes.
For now. Anything can go wrong going towards Red Cliff Village. No. No, I shouldn't have Zevron for that one.